Hello, once again, here from the Potential Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Dewar, and I'm joined by my co host, Taylor Sokol. We're reviewing WandaVision Episode 3. It just came out last Friday. So now we're third into the series here, and things are starting to definitely heat up,
I
which is
absolutely
very
agree.
exciting.
It's
It's starting to get a little more weird, a little crazy, and it's still, I don't know what's going to happen. This is still such a mystery, which I think is exciting about the show.
well, it's continue giving us little nuggets, a little bit of tease where this is a little bit more so where we actually, oh my gosh, now we are seeing a little bit of outside of this so-called reality that we are watching WandaVision in. So, a lot of big questions opening up for this episode. So I'm excited to just jump right into it and kind of give our take on this. First of all, where we left off the last couple episodes was Wanda was pregnant and all of a sudden miraculously 4 months actually, and then all of a sudden first two episodes were all black and white. Now we're in color, where we were talking about this earlier, where it is very much a kind of Brady Bunch, Partridge Family decade of TV. I think we're seeing here.
Yes, and I enjoyed this. I like that they're kind of sticking to doing a different era of TV per episode. I feel like this might continue through the series, and yeah, it was kind of fun to have this kind of colorful, more '60s, early '70s era for the two, especially because we get Paul Bettany with this luscious kind of long blonde hair. It's kind of like cut like very Partridge Family style, very Brady Bunch, and yeah, the whole premise of this episode is. How did Wanda get pregnant, and how quickly is this baby coming? And they have this great whole scene where they're, talking to this doctor and thinking, well, yeah, it looks like you're pretty pregnant. And by Vision's calculations, the baby might be coming as soon as Friday. And then we get all these funny hijinks with, they've been doing this a lot so far with, especially Wanda's character, being that she can control kind of all kinds of things through telekinesis. She starts to feel her emotions through the house. So like even like she thinks her water broke, the entire house is like raining. I thought that was like really clever. It makes us this really funny humor. It's all these quick little lines, these little quirks that they're doing with these characters. And having that laugh track continue, I think, is really smart. But of course, we're not here to see cute Wanda and Vision living happily ever after.
No.
We know there's something going on here. We had I think the first moment that really spoke out to me was that it was very similar to episode 2. There was a moment where Vision was kind of talking about like he kind of had a confusing moment to reflect on something like how would you be pregnant and stuff, and then all of a sudden I actually thought my TV
yeah exactly I like rewound a couple times. We're rewinding, but no, I went back and I like literally twice to think, was that a glitch? Was something off? No, that actually, again, just like the episode previously where Wanda just no, let's rewind, she's like controlling the narrative, it seems like. So it's like Vision, as we know, is dead in the MCU. So it's almost like, is this a real, like, he's starting to like figure something out. And then also I love the part where, the neighbors who now they're kind of in the psychedelic and, the Partridge area. And I love, and then they're starting like little weird, like he's cutting through the
yeah,
fence.
there's some weird things. Yeah, he's cutting like a saw iron kind of thing, and he's just making this long slash through it, like not really doing anything.
I'm fine.
Yeah. And they're starting to talk about, is that one girl in your house right now? And he's like, yeah. And Vision's like, yeah, she is. And they're kind of pointing out that she's new here and she's not married.
Yeah.
Being that this is clearly a very classic sitcom kind of place. Like I think you made a good point of Pleasantville. Everyone has their place. Everyone has their, who they're with. And she's by herself.
Well, anytime you're in one of those, you have to abide by the rules of the TV show. So anything's really off, then it's like, wait, this is kind of throwing off what's happening here. And then she starts being a little weird. She starts asking Wanda all these questions about her brother. And it's like, how would you know this? And then she starts getting freaked out. And then all of a sudden, Vision comes back, girl's gone. And Wanda's like, oh, it's fine, everything. And we have these twin babies, which we still... I don't know the logistics of what happened there, which we still got to figure out the mystery baby.
I really wanted one to be purple.
Yeah.
I mean, I did notice they did make there was a slight indent, I think, through CGI. So it looked a little bit like Vision's head on one of the babies, but I actually thought it'd been really funny if one was completely purple. But yeah, we who is this mystery girl?
And she
She did
also
have
has
a
the symbol.
necklace
Yep, the
with
sword
the
we see.
sword. So it's like, who is this? Who's she working for? And we talked about this show having a little bit of vibes like the Truman Show. And I thought definitely when the two neighbors, Catherine Hahn and the black guy who was cutting through the stuff, were talking, it was giving those Truman Show vibes of like they're about to reveal the truth. They're definitely keeping something secret,
Yeah.
and they wanted to tell Vision, but then they kind of were like, no, no, no. Bye, neighbor. Nice talking to you. Like very abrupt. Like no, no, no. And so yeah, it seems like okay. Now they have twins. Uh, Everything's peachy keen. Vision's like, is everything okay? And Wanda's just like, yes, everything's fine.
Everything's
Very
okay.
creepy.
Very, very Stepford Wives kind of thing going on there.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is definitely, I think, a little influence into this show. And then we were left with this ultimate tease at the end, which was very exciting. Actually, it made me think of The Village of all movies. We had this moment where our girl with the necklace, she was shoved out into this lawn, and a huge group of military men
Yeah.
are coming around and surrounding her. And then we get this kind of great little image of like what looks like almost like a wall of lights and lasers as if like projections.
Yeah, like the
So
like
I wonder if,
stadium lights, like if you're at a baseball field or football field,
yeah,
and then they're like projecting something on there. So this is what I thought earlier. Maybe this is like some sort of paramilitary group that's like containing Wanda and Vision, or maybe this is all like some weird thing, but everybody's like, or is this really a town like the Truman Show where it's all actors, or are they all held against their will? Because it seems like there's a little bit of like, are you, we've seen the trailer, like, are you here to help us? So there's still a lot of questions. I want to know what's going on there. So it definitely, this episode piqued my interest more than the last ones. I was like, okay, now I'm in it. Let's keep this going.
it's definitely starting to heat up, and I'm excited to see where it will go, and if we're gonna start getting some action as well. Is this girl? Does she have powers of some kind? She's working for this organization, which we still don't know. It's unnamed, and this is a Marvel show, so we're expecting at some point there to be a showdown of some kind. We're expecting action. We knew that it was not going to all be cutesy sitcom like, but there's something about that that's intriguing of masking what's really going on behind the scenes. So definitely excited to see what will happen this Friday when we get episode 4. But that definitely it was giving me vibes of like The Village, like in a way of like this completely set off place where people believe where they're from, but actually in reality, spoiler if you haven't seen that movie, tough luck.
Yeah.
It's been many years. They're actually set in modern day time.
M
So
Night
that's what
Shyamalan
it's
twist.
kind of giving me. Yeah, it's kind of giving me that vibes of like maybe this is a controlled environment by this military group doing an experiment, and the actors inside are actually people being held against their will, and they were about to reveal something, knowing, well, these two are superheroes, maybe they could help us, but if we say too much, we're on camera right now, they can see us.
Yeah,
That kind of
exactly.
give me the vibe. So it's the mystery still there, and we still have at least 2 episodes till we're halfway through the season. So excited to see what it's going to pick up, and definitely excited to see if this is really going to be a one-off, or this show will leave us with potential second season. We're not sure how Marvel's going to work in terms of Disney Plus, but WandaVision's, it's been fun so far. It's making me laugh and chuckle with the humor and the gags, and then it's definitely making me go, "Oh, come on already!" But we
Yeah,
gotta wait
it's
another
got that
week
edge of
for
your
it.
seat where I'm loving the fact that especially us growing up, seeing all the uh, rehashes of the kind of the old sitcom, and as they're going through the history of shows and things like that, especially if you're a fan of that, you keep enjoying the humor and with the little Marvel kind of hints of the past and present. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's going on. So hopefully you guys enjoy the episode as much as we have, and you're on the edge of your seat just as much as we are. So we don't know, questions still arising with every episode, but it's gonna be exciting. The mystery continues to unravel.
We shall see. See you next week for another review with episode 4 coming up.